Ah, yes. Another bike review. It's a beautiful bike. Oh, oh. It's a beautiful bike. Oh, oh. It's a beautiful bike. Oh, oh. I just wanna do this review now. Hey, y'all like the parody I did there of Ace of Base? Anybody remember Ace of Base? Just me, huh? God, I'm such a frickin' boomer. A cruiser for the weekend warrior who is holding on to the dream. Yeah, that quote sounds about right. Yeah, it sounds about right. Oh boy, this bike. It's had quite a history in the series. It's been in nearly all the mainline games, making this bike a GTA classic in my series. While it's had many changes over the years, its final form is something to appreciate. I've owned this bike for quite a while in my online character, and although it isn't fast, it certainly looks good. Just like the description from Southern San Andreas Autos, I can definitely see this bike having an appeal with the quote-unquote weekend warrior crowd. Someone in their late 30s, or even late 40s, perhaps, looking to replace their aging Maibachu Manchad Scout or Dinka Enduro, might want something a bit more modern that requires less maintenance. As I mentioned earlier, this bike has quite a history, spanning all the way back to Grand Theft Auto Vice City. In Vice City, the PCJ's first iteration resembled a late 80s Suzuki GSX. I actually looked up the real life version of this bike, and I gotta say, this bike looks frickin' cool. Like, it's got that, streamlined, shell to it that looks like it's meant for racing. It looks so freaking cool, dude. I would love to own one of those things. Anyway, back on topic. It remained basically the same as San Andreas, only receiving a minor facelift in Liberty City Stories, more resembling an early 90s Yamaha FZR 600. Finally, moving on to the HD era and GTA 4 and 5. The bike got a complete redesign. Now it's based on the Honda CB400 Super 4 and the Triumph Speed Triple. The bike itself appears to be based more off the Honda, although I think it inherited its engine and optional dual front headlamps from the Triumph, which I will show off later. As you can see here in the video by Elm60-4, the video creator of this video, or the clips I use in these videos, there were optional parts you could have for these bikes. So some bikes could have chrome rear view mirrors, some could have plastic rear view mirrors, some could have dual headlamps, some could have single headlamp. Because there's no mod shops in this game, that's kind of how you got your own unique version of the bike in other vehicles in GTA 4. However, most of these parts, excluding the headlamps, are optional and add-on parts to the bike in GTA 5. So you can just remove the license plate holder, add different exhaust, stuff like that. According to in-game models and badging, the PCJ 600 features a 675cc 3-cylinder 12-valve liquid-cooled engine. 12 valves means 4 valves per cylinder. Why 675? That's what the badging says. In GTA 4, the badging read PCJ 600. In 5, it reads PCJ 675. I can only assume, to use lore, Rockstar lore to kind of explain all this away, is that the in-game manufacturer, Shitzu, bumped up the displacement by 75 cc's. Whether or not this has an effect on the performance, I'm not really sure. Not really an expert on bikes. I'm assuming to have a slight increase in performance, but to be honest, I always felt its predecessor in 4 was a lot faster. Unfortunately, I forgot to measure the 0 to 60 time again, just like with the Yoga. I'm sorry, I just assumed that the wiki page had the numbers on hand, and usually the wiki page is pretty good about that kind of stuff. Guess I was wrong. Now, in my bike's current upgraded form with max upgrades, I'd have to assume or wager a guess that the 0 to 60 time is probably 5 to 8 seconds. That's a pretty generous number, I must say, and it is a bike. So bikes are typically a little faster than cars because they're bikes. They're a lot lighter than cars, while still having less power than cars. Handling and speed are pretty average for the bike of this class. It's not great at handling, not great at speed, but it is equally balanced, with an equal balance of handling and power output. Not as good as handling with, say, a scooter, but definitely pretty good for a bike based on a Street Fighter bike. So, fairly decent. Alright, so while doing the research for this video, I decided to go search up my old buddy, Brohy1322. Y'all might have heard of him. He's kind of the expert when it comes to cars and GTA games or GTA 5. He's done countless videos about the top ranking cars for GTA games, what's the best car for racing, stuff like that. Typically he does 2 tests. He does a straight line test, which is straight line top speed and acceleration, and track test. I typically do track test because it gives me a more accurate representation of the vehicle's handling and performance. So I decided to look up the one for the PCJ. Unfortunately, the newest one I could find for bikes was 2017, so it was pretty outdated at this point. I kind of knew the bike was going to be pretty low on the ranking, and I was right. So it had about 44 bikes on the roster, and the PCJ scored 29th out of 44. So pretty low on the spectrum. Wasn't surprised, honestly. I remember back in the day, back in the day, when Kanye Stunts came out, you know, Kanye Stunts, remember that old DLC from years ago? Good times before the Oppressor Mark II was ever a thing, huh? Anyway, I remember Kanye Stunts came out, like 2016, 2017. I wanted to do a race on one of the tracks, and I decided to use my PCJ. It was fully upgraded, and I thought, hey, this thing's pretty good, pretty fast. I could probably beat somebody with this thing. I immediately got smoked. I just got left in the dust. And I was like, oh crap, this thing's slow as shit. So yeah, I never raced with that bike again. It's not good for racing at all. I'm gonna be upfront. Not good for racing at all. However, as I said in my previous video though, I had a lot of fun using this bike for free mode missions like MC Club missions, resupply missions, or whatever. And what I used to do is I would always, you know, put the player camera in first person, open up YouTube, put on some Omni Trio. They're an old like jungle drum and bass group from the late 90s. They're pretty good, by the way. You should go check them out. And I would kind of just immerse myself in the atmosphere of the city, the countryside, and just kind of go for a cruise with some missions, whatever. And that's kind of why I had such fond memories with this bike. It's just a good bike and all that kind of stuff, you know. You know what? I have a bit of a optional homework assignment for you guys watching the video. If you have GTA 5 and you don't already have one, pick yourself up a PCJ and go on like YouTube or whatever app you use for music and type in Omni Trio Through the Vibe. My favorite tracks from MSX98 FM. And just cruise through the city at night, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see why I like riding this bike so much. But Snazzy, what if it's too expensive? It's not expensive at all, actually. It's one of the cheapest bikes you can buy. I mean, you can get it for practically nothing if you find one in free mode. So you can either find one in free mode, or you can buy one for $9,000, which is like nothing in today's GTA Online economy. One thing I must note, there are 2 variations of this bike. There is the bike with the single large headlamp and one with the dual small headlamps. I actually did a test to see whether or not which one has more is brighter or has more illumination in front of the bike. And according to my quote-unquote research, they're about the same. I don't know why I did that. It was a waste of time, I guess. I prefer the large headlamp because it more closely resembles the Honda CB400 and the Triumph. So that's just my personal opinion. In addition, I also added carbon fiber body panels, carbon fiber front mudguard, dual tipped exhaust, and the black racer wheels because it's a race bike, Mom. It's a race bike. It has VTEC because it's based on a Honda. VTEC. Funnily enough, though, the actual real-life counterpart, the CB400, did have a VTEC engine. And I'm like, they made VTEC on motorcycles? Whoa, boy, that's so fucking cool. Anyway, in closing, I just like to say this is a fairly average Street Fighter. Not quite on par with the newer bikes, but I must say it looks really good. 1995 Shitzu PCJ 600 for the Weekend Warrior in all of us. Okay, boys, this is the unscripted part of the video because I ran out of script and I'm just sitting back in my chair and I'm just closing my eyes because it's 3 a.m. and I want to go back to sleep. Snazzy, why are you up so late? Because my sleep schedule is all fucked up because of my new job. It's okay, boys. It's okay. I've noticed that lately I've been putting a lot more quality in my scripts and my videos. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I actually enjoy making these videos for once now. I've also noticed the quantity of my videos has increased too. Maybe it's just I'm excited to get back, but I'm afraid if I keep up this quantity, I might burn myself out too quickly, you know? So maybe I'll try to just stick to one video like I used to, so... I think also this new job is giving me more days off to work on videos, so that's probably it too. Anyway, guys, so, you know, I'm just happy to make another video here, and next week I'll probably cover the BF Weevil, the new beetle added to GTA 5, as well as its technical predecessor, the BF Injection, which is another classic in my eyes in the series. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I really like the PCJ. I really like making these videos for you guys, even though I don't get a lot of feedback on them. Most of the ones who do like them a lot. So yeah, now just enjoy this last aesthetic shot of just me riding off into the night with my blinker turned on because I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. When is Rockstar gonna let us use blinkers, guys? Man, I want to use my blinkers in GTA 5. Guys, tweet Rockstar, be like, yo bro, if I can't use blinkers in GTA 6, I'm not buying it. I don't care if you put drift mods in it. I want my blinkers, damn it. Alright guys, have a great week, and I'll see you guys next week. Next video. Bye bye.